everybody, and welcome back to another beautiful episode of everybody's favorite podcast, the podcast where we talk about, things that you want, and we call the podcast, Is This What You Want? With Matt and Julia. I am Julia, and with me is my beautiful co-host, my husband, my enemy, my lover.
Wow.
Matt O'Brien.
Enemy before lover. I don't like the order of that.
I feel like,
Very announcery off the top as well. That was quite something. Hello, everyone. You almost sounded like a subway announcement. Next stop, Rochester.
Rochester Station.
Is there a Rochester Station?
Yeah. I don't know.
You could be a voice. I swear you got to book a voiceover thing soon.
Listen, I've got a cool voice. Also, we've been watching a lot of Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
And the way that they do their podcast, they're always like, talking to their phone. They're like, all right. And then there was a little bit of a murder. Okay, remember that for later. I'm like, nobody does that.
Maybe that's how podcasts are made, and we just don't. Like, as if you are making a murder podcast, yeah, you got to document every second. But sometimes, Martin Short will be like, he'll be like, hold on a sec. And he'll be like, the Jack just got traded. And it's just little catchphrases.
Yeah. And I'm like, then you're going to add those to the podcast later. I'm like,
or re-record
your
it.
producer has their work cut out for them.
I think it's voice memos. That's what I think. But sometimes he has a big chunky Zoom recorder, like what we record.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes it's just his phone. Anyway, it's a cozy show. I like watching it now because it's kind of fall and it's cozy. And that's it's New York fucking
in the fall.
Autumn, fall.
Oh, New York in the fall is just lovely. It is an autumnal show because they're all in their beautiful little apartment and they're all cozy. And Martin Short and Steve Martin are always drinking just even though it's fall, you wouldn't think a crisp glass of wine, but they're drinking. I don't know.
Crisp whites.
It's crisp looking whites, not a Sauvignon Blanc, not anything too summery. It looks just like an expensive Chardonnay or something. Yeah. And I'm like, God damn it. I want to have a glass of wine with Martin Short.
I wonder if it's real wine in the show. What show were we watching where they were sometimes they use... when we saw that Frasier taping live, they use a real, actual expensive whiskey on set.
Well, I think for Kelsey Grammer they do.
Yeah. I think he actually
requests
drinks
it. Yeah.
That's fun.
It is fun.
But I thought he didn't drink. Maybe he doesn't do that anymore.
I don't think he does drugs.
He can do whatever he wants on when the show's called Frasier and you are Frasier, it's listen. Yeah. And clearly he does do whatever he wants because when we were watching it, he was directing and the director's like, all right,
he's
you got
can
this.
We try it that way or whatever. But also I'm like, the guy's done this character for over 20 years. So yeah, I think he knows.
I haven't even done anything solid for 20 plus years. Other than be me.
You
but even
wiped
at that,
your butt.
That's true. Now I spray it with a bidet.
But you still wipe. You still dab it.
I dab and wipe. I wipe and dab. Is that a new move the kids are doing? Is that going to go with the dab and wipe?
The wipe? Okay, so dabbing's like this.
Dab is this.
Wait. Yeah, that's okay. That's the dab. And this is the wipe.
Oh, no. Yeah, I thought you were going to wipe your actual ass.
Oh, right. That would make more sense.
Yeah, you go, and then you shove your hand in your friend's nose.
You go back to front?
Yeah. Because I don't know how to be a lady.
Wait, is that how men wipe? You wipe back to front?
I do whatever I want.
But then doesn't the shit just cram up in your balls? Ew, I hate this, and I apologize to everybody at home. I don't want to talk about this.
Cram? I don't know how much is coming out of your B crack when you wipe.
Well, you could say the same thing about ladies. Everybody's like, oh, you're just shoveling the fucking shit in your vagina? And I'm like, well, that's not how it works.
Well, if you knew how balls worked, there is a flap at the back, and a shit goes in.
Ew, imagine that's what balls were filled of. Shit. I actually can't have this conversation
I would
anymore.
like it if every few years these balls fell out and then new balls grew. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, like grapes on a vine.
Like grapes on a vine. Like the sands of time, so do my balls change and fall. But that'd be embarrassing. You're in a public situation, and then just your testicles fall out of your pants.
And the fellows would be like, "Oh, is it that time of the month?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm shedding my balls in this Chili's."
But then your other friend's balls fall out of his pants, and you're like, "We're sinking. Looks like we're sinking. Our balls."
Oh, sinking. I thought you meant you were physically sinking, like sinking into the ground because the balls were weighing you down.
Wow, that's where your mind went, Anna. Isn't it weird that Steve Martin and Martin Short both have Martin in their names, and they're both equally as charming and funny?
Yeah.
I find them both equally charming and funny. There's not... you know what? I take that back. I do like Martin Short.
I think Martin Short
by a hair.
by a hair, and I think it's because he's Canadian, and he just has this like effervescent goofiness about him.
Yeah.
And same with we were talking about Andrea Martin, who's
Another
actually,
Martin.
oh my god,
What's happening with them? Is anyone making some sort of Martin connection here?
the Martin Connection? That's a podcast.
That all these funny people were made in a lab and they were just different Martin versions?
We have to look up different Martins. I'm so serious about this right now. The Martin Connection.
Well, we named 3 very hilarious Martins.
Yeah.
What's another Martin? Martin Scorsese? No, he kind of went off the beaten path.
We'll come back to it.
Chris Martin, Coldplay, hilarious.
Chris Martin, comedian. Chris
oh,
Martin.
there you go, Chris Martin.
Chris Martin.
He's quite the British man, isn't he?
Yeah.
He texted me today because he was buying a car from. He said a car broker. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a
I
British
think that's
term.
a dealer, like a dealership.
Yeah, a broker sounds like some guy wearing a visor in a dank basement, and he's because I was like, "What are you buying? Some weird used car out of a shoebox?" I don't understand what you're doing. But he said he talked to a car broker, and it sounded exactly like our manager, his old manager, because he's not with him anymore. And he thought that he was doing so poorly that he now had to sell cars.
Oh,
But
okay,
he
I
said he
see.
sounds exactly like him, and I'm like, well, I think he's just got like that one of those business voices. You know what I mean? Those phone business voices. Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Matt,
listen.
great.
I got an audition for you. I mean, a car. It's for you. Anyway,
Hey, here, you doing great, Matt. Funny stuff. How's the musical going? That's great. Anyway, I'll talk to you in 8 months. No, he's a nice guy.
we love him.
Glad to have him around.
Isn't it nice to have a manager? I wouldn't know.
Nom,
Right
nom.
now, I am my own manager. I am CEO and owner of Julia Ladkowitz Enterprises.
And treasurer and receptionist.
And
You're really
leader
everything.
of the fan club.
You're your biggest fan.
I'm my biggest fan. Speaking of big fan, I'm a big fan of this. It's not even a segment. It's just something we do every podcast. It's Chappy Hour.
Top of the Chappy Hour, everybody. It's the only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie of all time. Last week, we discovered that Julia thinks The Brave Little Toaster is a robot movie. And she doesn't like that guy very much.
Well, we agreed that a talking toaster, is a robot.
Could be a robot.
Could be a robot.
Yeah, but
So,
we said maybe this week, like, what's your favorite robot? Like, not a stupid robot.
my favorite robot. Well, now I can't think of any robots.
I like R2D2. There's something about the colors.
Bloop, bleep, bleep, bleep. That little fat
And
guy.
he doesn't. He just beeps and he rolls around, and I just want him to. That's what Shange is to me. She's my little R2D2. She follows me around the house.
Yeah.
and beeps and snorts.
You know what? I don't mind that one. What about that dog from the Jetsons?
Oh, what was his name? Buzz Jet Floaty.
Spot.
Here comes Blinky.
Well,
The
I like
dog from the Jetsons.
I like the dog from the Jetsons so much that I can't remember his or her name.
Did they ever do like a live action version of? That's like the one they didn't do. They tried with the Flintstones twice.
Yeah.
They didn't go full Jetson.
Oh my god, I loved the live action Flintstones.
I'd like the first one.
It was
I
so
did.
good.
It was
I didn't see the second one.
Viva Rock Vegas. We need to watch.
Why have we not seen that? Actually, that's
I have
right up our
seen
alley.
it. Yeah, they go to like Flintstone Las Vegas and they're using like sand dollars and they're betting.
Wait.
But it's like they're younger, so it's not like Rick Moran. You know what? Why I think one of the Baldwins is in it. Like one of the.
You know what? I have seen this.
Yeah, I forget who
I think I
plays
liked
Fred,
it.
but the Baldwin is just like you're like, oh man, this is throwing me off. All the Baldwins throw me off a little bit. Once their little beat,
Once
their
the
little
Baldwins
eyes.
are in there, they really throw. Isn't it interesting that Haley Baldwin, Haley Bieber, nay Baldwin, is married to Justin Bieber and just doing her own thing and thriving, and she's all like, "Don't talk about my dad and my weird family."
Yeah, that's odd. I mean, yeah. What does she do exactly? Is she an actor or a model? I imagine.
I think she models, and then I think she has like.
If your dad's Alec Baldwin and you're married to Justin Bieber, you're fine.
But I think she does like influencing, and I think she has like a makeup line or something.
I don't understand how that works. certain like influencers and celebrities, they're like, I'm going to come out with makeup. It's like, are you in a lab telling people what to do, or you just hire a team of scientists? You're like,
hire a
make
team.
me makeup,
Well, you
but
have
make it in
you have
my.
enough money and enough clout behind your name that you hire the right people and they make stuff for you. It's funny because right now I'm actually wearing Selena Gomez's lip stuff.
Did she go into the lab and was she like bit
She's
more
like,
powdery?
Hi, I'm just really, I'm not sure. The other lipsticks just weren't working for me, so I got.
You're moving your mouth too much to be heard.
So
When
I
she
got-
talks in Only Murders in the Building, it's like, and you're
Well,
like,
we really
what?
have to find out who murdered someone because I'm tired.
Did she break her jaw?
I don't know, but I like her and I like her makeup. So
great.
I'm wearing that right now. But also, we're getting off topic. It's Chappy Hour.
It is Chappy Hour.
And Matt, what are you chapping?
I'm drinking some sort of non-alcoholic champagne,
Yeah, it's a non-alcoholic prosecco by
Prosecco.
No and Low.
and it is nice. It gets the job done. It like all non-alcoholics, you're like something is missing, and it's clearly the alcohol, but it's close enough.
Yeah, and it tastes good, and it's fun, and it's festive.
Yeah, my initial reaction was like, this is going to taste like flat ginger ale, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Kind of does, but doesn't.
It doesn't.
But it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm chapping a bit of a melange.
Yeah.
So I cleaned the bar cart today, Matt. How
Like
exciting is that?
sucked back all the liquids.
I cleaned it
her
dry.
out.
I was looking at it and I was like, there's just so much clutter and shit on this. So I cleaned it all up. And then there's 3 bottles. Okay. So there was like 1 bottle of tequila that had like just like a whisper of tequila. And then there was another bottle that had a whisper of, what's that orange liqueur?
Oh.
Not Campari, not Aperol, triple sec.
Triple sec, that's the one.
There was a tiny bit of triple sec left, and there was a tiny bit of bitters. So I was like, all right. I put them in a glass. I splashed a bit more tequila in there.
Moshed it up.
Put a bit of lemon, a little squeeze of clementine, some soda water, and you got yourself a little bit of I call it a margarita mishmash soda.
Yeah, got yourself a stiff one.
Yeah.
It smells like pure gasoline.
It doesn't. There's actually barely any booze in here.
It'll fuel you, I'll tell you. It'll get you going. It'll put your trousers on. It'll grease your bike. I'll tell you, that drink.
It'll wet your anus.
It'll wet your anus. That drink will wet your anus. If a bartender ever said that to me, I'd be like, I need to see the manager. And then he'd be
barkeep,
like, I am the manager.
Give me a little anus wetter.
Yeah, I'm looking for something to wet my anus. And he'd be like, I got the perfect thing.
What would be an anus wetter that you would like? Maybe
A hose?
No, like a drink that is an anus wetter would be maybe like
Something that would make you like sweat or shit from your anus.
Maybe a bit of both. Maybe you know what I think it is.
Something with chili in it. Like
I think it's a half creme de banane.
Oh boy.
Or a shot of creme de banane and a shot of whiskey, bad whiskey, dropped into like a Red Bull.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Jager bomb, but
Ooh.
like with whiskey and creme de banane.
That feels like it would just make your stomach just seize up.
Your anus would start to wet.
No, an anus wetter. If you go to the bar and say, I want to get my anus wet, he's going to put a shot of Fireball and dump a bunch of Tabasco in it. And then he's going to drop it into a pint of tequila. And you got to drink that quick because your ass is getting soaked.
Oh, God.
Your ass is getting soaked.
It's like when I went to New York and almost shit my pants and had to run into that dive bar, Spring Lounge. And then after...
Wait, great shout out for the lounge.
Yeah.
Hey, I took a big hot dump at a
Listen,
bar
I
in
love
New
Spring
York, and it
Lounge.
was
It's
beautiful.
A good time. And then I was like, I'm sorry, I don't shit my pants. And he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, spicy Bloody Mary, please. And he's like, no, are you sure? I'm like, give it to me.
That's an anus wetter right there. That bartender refused to wet your anus. He's like, I think you've had enough wet anus
My
today.
anus was already wet.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are walking around New York at any given moment being like, I'm almost shitting my pants. When you walk by like through a busy crowd on a busy street like Times Square, you could be like, there's probably at least 8 to 10 people right now that are like, I could shit.
How many people in New York City do you think shit their pants every day?
That's a great question. I want to say, wait. So what's the population of like Manhattan? Alexa, what's the population of Manhattan, New York? Uh-huh. 1.69 million people just
69.
in Manhattan. I'd say of that many people, I'd say 1,000 people. At least 1,000. With the food that's floating around and the sicknesses and COVID's coming back, and that makes some people shit.
It actually blows my mind how many people shit their pants all the time, because I can't remember if we podcasted since then.
Since you shit your pants?
Since I shit my pants in New York. I can't remember if we talked about this. Maybe we did.
I kind of blocked this out of my memory. I don't remember you doing this.
Anyway, when I was at Spring Lounge and I was regaling my tale of almost shitting my pants, I literally looked around the bar. I'm like, who else has shit their pants in here? And then everybody started telling shit your pants stories, and it was hilarious. But so many people shit their pants way more. I've only barely shit my pants once in Reno.
Yeah.
Like as an adult. But you were just doing a podcast where they tell shit your pants stories, and the guy was like, I shit my pants
every Tuesday for 3
for
weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, and I was like, first of all, get yourself checked out. Second of all, after the second Tuesday, you're like, well, this is my life. Why is this? It seems like some sort of curse that is on you, that you're shitting your pants on the dial once this clock strikes Tuesday. But your pants are filling.
That's the thing. You're right. Even by the second Tuesday, I'd be like, okay, this is what happened last week. Ooh, watch out. And
also, you're like, what am I doing Monday? What are your Mondays like? Someone's got to investigate.
That's the biggest.
That's a crime podcast right there. The man that shit his pants 3 times every Tuesday.
What are you doing? What are you doing Monday?
Yeah.
What are you doing Monday?
What are you even doing Monday that you're shitting your pants on Tuesday? There's been a lot of shit talk on this podcast already.
There's been a lot of shit talk, but so you told me, you're like, I did the podcast and we all tell shit stories, and then you were like, the 2 hosts told their shit stories, and I was like, wait a minute, so this is a regular segment on the podcast? Matt's like, yes. I'm like, so they just tell the same shit their pants stories every week?
Yeah, I didn't realize until after, because I've only listened to this one, the one that I was on, and I was like, that's a funny bit.
The listeners just hear their same shit,
and they're just reciting it with them at home. They're just saying it. It was a Tuesday. I was sweating. I was at a bar. Like there's just like reading like a Bible verse.
I mean, there's stuff that we repeat all the time that our listeners are like, we get it.
Chappy hour?
Chappy hour. Or, I mean, Chappy hour is a segment, but, we still got to lime you in.
I know. I still have to put a lime into my anus at the border of the USA and Canada. That's what we decided, right? It has to be on the border.
It has to be literally on the border.
So much that, both sides don't know what to do with me. And both border
that's the
cops
thing. If
need
you're
to...
equally there, it's like, well, who's going to handle this?
Yeah. Or they just walk. I think they would just walk away. They'd be like, you know what? Let them have it. And it would be the first international incident that went ignored.
Or what if a large bird scooped you up?
Oh, I thought you meant stole the lime, and I had to follow it and get my lime back.
No, a large bird. The lime's already in your ass, and you're like, haha, nobody can stop me. And then like a pterodactyl comes down and picks you up.
Yeah.
And then drops you somewhere. I don't know. Listen.
I was going to say, what if there's an earthquake and the earth opens up and I fall in it, but I have a lime in my ass? So that's the thing. If I was falling through the earth's core, I'd be like, this is crazy. But then my second thought would be like, there's a full lime in my ass.
What if you fell through, but then you fell on your anus and you would have been impaled in the anus, but the lime saved you?
The lime saved me?
I mean, what is this lime made of, first of all, that it's saving you from being impaled in the anus?
But also, people are like, how did you survive that crazy fall? And I'd have to tell the story. I'd be like, well, I was liming in at the border. Wouldn't you know it? There was an earthquake. I just canceled our earthquake insurance today. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy, but...
Our insurance just emailed me, and they're like, are you sure you want to do this? Why are you doing this? First of all, it's $8 a month, and I think it only covers, like, if we owned this place...
Yeah, we
it's
don't
like $25,000
own.
in damage. And I'm like, if my fucking bookshelf falls over, I don't care. And also, if there's damage to the house, I ain't paying for that.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
We have stuff insurance.
We got stuff insurance. But it's more the insurance was like, they were like, can you tell us why you're doing this? I'm like, can you fucking get your nose out of my lime-filled anus? None of your beeswax, State Farm.
Because I have to save for the limes I'm going to shove into my ass.
Yeah, I should have said that. I literally was just like, I'm canceling it. I don't want to pay for it. And they're like, hey, fair enough. Hey, thanks for calling. Speaking of topical and calling, remember we mentioned last week that I said I canceled Netflix, and in the box,
right?
Why are you canceling? I said pay your writers. And I'm like, if this ends the strike, it's me. Well, guess what? The strike is officially over, and I guarantee I was the tipping point. I'm gonna preach this from the hills, because no one will be able to prove me wrong unless somebody works at Netflix, and you can be like, it is true. We saw that one, and we were sick of it.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Wait, quickly 1 second. The dog's snoring, and I'm trying to see if we can pick this up on the mic.
We both put our mics up to her, and she looked like a politician that was being grilled. She was like, I don't know where the bodies are.
I did not sleep with that woman.
She's like half dreaming right now. When dogs do that eye thing, and they just start like. No, she knows she's being recorded.
God damn it. She was snoring like a little pig.
Now she's snoring again.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's pretty wild that happened. Also, about a story that we were talking about last week. Sorry, am I getting off of this too quick?
Oh, no. I was just going to talk about like what is to come with the writer's strike now that it's over. Well, because most people are like, the strike's done. It's like, guess what? There's still another one going.
Yeah, there's still
Actors.
The actor strike. And there's still the auto worker strike. Well, there's a bunch of strikes,
Everyone's
I tell you.
striking. But it's weird because now that the writers are back, so shows can be made, but actors can't be in them.
Yep.
And I guess I saw that late night shows are coming back October 2nd, but I don't think
actors can't be on
them. I think. So I think that means. No, she stopped again.
So I keep trying to put the microphone up to the dog to hear her snore. It's like that dancing, singing frog.
Yeah, if it was a snoring chihuahua.
It's just so cute, and I want everybody to know. Yeah, we're still all fucked, but baby steps. It's great that they've reached.
They got a good deal. Yeah,
and yeah. So to everybody who was just like, shut up and just take like the first deal was good. How about you shut up?
There you go.
Whoa, you heard
should
it here.
be on the negotiation boards.
I am.
How about you shut up?
Okay, so about last week too, we were talking about. I think we were talking about Burger King and fast food places.
I think
week.
so. Yeah.
So Christina Walkinshaw, power listener, messaged me, and she's like, I saw an article that someone is suing Burger King for the Whopper because it is not a Whopper. It is actually, in fact, quite small.
Wait, is a Whopper a unit of measurement?
It's like a whopping amount, I guess.
A whopping. Oh, yeah. A lawsuit accuses Burger King, others of ads that misrepresent their food. Well,
it's true. It's like whenever you see an ad for any kind of fast food, it's like, oh my God, that looks huge and delicious. And then you get this smashed up, crunched up diaper, and you're like, wait a minute. This isn't what was in the commercial.
Here's the thing with the Whopper is what they're saying is there is not enough meat in there. At least a quarter pounder. Now, I'm not on anyone's side. I'm devil's advocate here. I'm just a quarter pounder. It seems like a decent chunk of meat.
It's
Whopper,
a quarter pound.
It's a quarter pound. Whopper, every time I've had one, it's mostly mayonnaise. It's a bunch of lettuce. It's tomatoes. And then there's just like a thin little sneeze of meat.
It's a whopping amount of toppings, like a whopping amount of mayo.
Whop topper.
But
Whopper.
then just call it like the Wayo.
The Wayo?
Yeah, a whopping amount of mayo.
Oh, I thought that was an old Nelly song. Wayo.
Wayo. I put my mayonnaise
andale.
on my sandwich, yeah. And I dance with the sexy ladies, yeah. I'm a Wayo.
So wait, who's suing here? Who decides this?
Should we sue somebody?
I don't know. Like, I don't understand how you are like, you wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to sue Burger King.
I can totally see that.
Yeah, but to execute it so much that the press is like, holy shit, he's doing it. So if this guy wins, are the Whoppers going to be more whoppy?
Or are they going to just change the name of the Whopper to the little one?
I don't know. Either way, I don't eat them. And this means nothing. That's like, I get a lot of Taco Bell news. If you live in the Los Angeles area, LA County, KTLA especially, you get a lot of Disneyland news. They're like, the bathrooms are not functioning at Disneyland right now, and some people are upset. I'm like, I don't care.
It's as if all we're doing is going to Taco Bell and then shitting our pants on the rides at Disneyland.
It's as if we're...
Disneyland, Disney World.
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
That's all we're doing here. But I get a lot of Taco Bell news. They're like, "You're gonna love this. A new product's back, and it's gonna be great at Taco Bell." I'm like, They must be giving them money. They must be like they give a couple bucks to the news and be like, "Hey, talk about our fucking nacho fries,
But
would you?"
people do really like Taco Bell here.
They really do, and
For a place that is just full of authentic, beautiful, delicious Mexican food, people love that shit.
They love the shit. It's the last time I had it. I think you were out of town, and usually the first 1 to 2 days when you go out of town, I'm like, I'm going to be a dirty little boy. I'm going to do dirty little boy things. I'm going to watch action movies and eat garbage. And so I watched Tombstone. Old Western movie, great. And I was like, I'm going to get some Taco Bell. I'm going to get high and get some Taco Bell. And I did. I ate it, and it tasted good in the top part of my body. And then when it went down to the middle where my stomach is, I felt like I was full of bugs. Like,
ew.
I felt immediately sick. And the worst part I was so high that I was like, finish what you started. And I kept eating it. And then I just watched Tombstone, an old Western movie.
This is a reminder that once things have started, you can always stop.
Yeah. But here was my high mind I was like, okay, what if I throw out this Taco Bell? Then I got to go all the way outside because I can't have this old Taco Bell in my inside garbage.
I like that you're like, I don't want to go and throw this out in the outside garbage.
I will be the garbage.
I will be the outside garbage.
I'll be the outside garbage. I will be your outside garbage. Didn't Enrique Iglesias sing that song?
Yeah.
I
I feel
will
like you
eat your
are my
Taco
outside
Bell.
garbage because I'm always like, I don't want this. Do you want it? And then you're like, "Hum," and it's just always like a crust of bread or some garbage off my plate.
I didn't do that today. We got breakfast burritos, and you didn't eat the nub, the little anus balloon
I didn't
knot
eat
at the end.
the anus of the burrito because at that point it was just like bean goo and tortilla, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this. Also, right before that, so we went to this place called Mary's Market, and it's in Sierra Madre.
Look it up.
Which is just kind of like next to like Altadena area, and it's right by the mountains. It's so beautiful. You feel like you're in Northern California and like Lake Arrowhead or
Feels
something.
very Canadian up there.
It does.
Which was funny. It's because I saw a Wi-Fi network that was a Tragically Hip song. So I was
there
like,
you go.
What are we doing up here? And also I saw a couple Washington State plates. So I'm like, I think Canadians and people from the Northwest are like, this feels familiar to me.
because
I'm
it
gonna
doesn't
live
feel
here.
like LA at all.
Yeah.
And it's over 100-year-old diner, and so we went and we just sat outside and it was super cute. But we got just devoured by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And right at the end when I was like, Matt, do you want this last nub of my burrito? And I feel like you were like on the fence about it, and then a mosquito flew into my plate and I went, and I squished it with a napkin, and so much blood erupted from it. And only then did I notice that I'd gotten eaten alive. I'm like, oh, that's my blood.
It was it was like a squib from the Expendables. It exploded.
I've never seen that.
Well, it's an action movie where people get shot.
I imagine.
So you could use that mosquito as a squib. It's an industry term. Now that we're back in the industry, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the thing with the little nub at the end of the burrito. There should be an extra dipping sauce just for the nub.
Yeah.
An extra little dip. Like if you go to get a burrito at a restaurant and they see that you're at the little anus balloon knot end of the burrito, someone should come around the little bowl and be like, "Can I get you your anus dip now? Are you ready for your burrito anus
Yeah, nub
balloon
dip.
knot nub dip?
Nub dip.
Nub dip.
Nub dip.
One guy going around the table, nub dip, nub dip,
Nub dip's not a bad idea because there's many nubs, like pizza nubs, like crusts. There's nubs on all sorts of food. I'd like a nub dip.
A nub dip. Yeah, we should market nub dip.
Nub dip.
And it's good for any type of food. Whatever nub you have
What
left,
would be in nub dip? Would it be like a mayonnaise
I'm
based thing?
picturing it looking like Thousand Island dressing. Why am I picturing that? It's like pinkish kind of, I don't know. It's in everything.
I don't want a pink nub dip because, ew, I don't want a pink nub dip.
But what sauce exists now that could be a nub dip? I could dip anything in sweet chili sauce.
You love sweet chili sauce.
It's the perfect sauce.
There's a time and a place for sweet chili sauce
it's
for
right
me. I'm thinking maybe a bit of like a French onion dip, or like a green goddess dip.
What about a ranch, like a creamy ranch, like Ruffles had that ranch shitty
what?
potato chip dip?
That's what nub dip is. Nub dip is just ranch,
Yeah, I think so.
like a thicker ranch.
Well, here's how stupid we are. We've been talking about Nub Dip, and pizza places have been using Nub Dip for ages.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They have dips. And they're like, "You want Nub Dip?"
But they don't call it Nub Dip.
I know.
And that's what we're gonna do.
We can market Nub Dip.
We're gonna have a Nub Dip.
Nub Dip is a good name for a Star Wars character too. He's an old pilot from Coruscant. Nub Dip.
Oh, I was
Hop in the A-wing.
I was gonna say it's a guy who has like horns coming out of his ears, and he's all like gloop 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 gloop, and then they're all
Nub
like,
Dip.
Nub Dip's here. Beep, click, click, click.
See, that's how you write sci-fi, everybody.
Is there anything else exciting in the news, Matthew?
I mean, this I thought was kind of interesting. Archaeologists found a structure that's over 1 million years old, and it's like a wooden structure.
Oh.
It's over
Where'd they find it?
500,000 years in Africa, on the continent of Africa, but it has interlocking logs. And this is why I found this interesting. I'm like, so this proves that we have had like wooden structures for like basically almost 1 million years, like over 500,000 years.
Crazy.
Yet we still have not perfected them. Our houses still leak. We still get ants. We still have crevasses and creaks and cracks. And even this house we stay in right now, the floors are uneven and the vinyl flooring is cracking and creaking.
Man, because life's not perfect.
I know, but I was like, after all those years, we can't nail it down.
Well, that's the thing.
That's a little home building joke.
You can nail it down if you're doing it properly. Because let me tell you something. I don't think the pyramids are leaking. You know?
They might be.
And they might be, actually.
I don't know.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you put time and effort, people know how to do these things and make them fully leak-proof, ant-proof, yada, yada, yada. But there's so many places now and so many contractors and so many whoever. So everybody's doing, a lot of people are half-assing the job is what I'm trying to say. And also, there's just life, man. Life finds a way.
Yeah.
The ants are going to get in. The ants were here before fucking log structures were here.
That's true. They said, scientists say, which is a broad statement, if aliens are to analyze Earth for living beings, they would think that ants are in charge.
Yeah,
because there's so many of them.
For every one person, there's like 1 million ants or something.
Something like that.
There's an insane amount of ants on the planet.
How many ants per person? Was it 1 million? Ants.
We saw ants eating our little ant poison the other day, and their asses were getting fatter. They were like sucking up the poison, and it was like... Dum, 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 dum.
This is actually crazy.
Oh my God.
They say there's 20 quadrillion ants on the planet. That's approximately 2.5 million ants for every human.
That's worse than I thought.
And I've been disrespecting my colony. I'll tell you that much. The colonies around here, we have been at battle for years.
Listen, it's not like I'm a psychopath when I'm outside that I'm like setting ant colonies on fire or stepping on them. When you're outside, that's great. But if you're coming into my house and trying to get into my food,
yeah, we all have our
I'm
spaces.
Sorry.
I clocked that when I was outside taking the dog in the backyard. I saw like an ant path going through like the garden, and part of my brain was actually like, "There you go, that's where you belong. Stay there. I'm not going to bother you."
I don't go out of my way to hurt the ants.
No.
But when they're in here, what am I supposed to do? Being like, "Oh no, let's just let the ants take over. The ants live here now."
Yeah, I don't want you slowly eating my honey. When they got into our honey, that was next level.
Oh,
the cap was
yeah.
on.
The cap was on.
They somehow got in under the cap.
These are these little teeny tiny ants, not the big fuckers. Ooh, those big fuckers that you're like, "Oh no, ants," and you have to crush them, and they're like, "Kung kung kung."
Yeah, you hear their joints crack. They're like cracking their knuckles at you, and
then
like,
you think you squished it,
ya.
and it's like, and it comes back to life, and you're like, "Oh my God."
And then you finally do the big squish, and it goes. Oh, you feeling the whole body, especially when you kill like a big spider. You're like, remember that one we killed, the spider we killed in Hollywood, and a bunch of babies.
And a bunch of babies exploded.
It was
out
a
of
big spider in the bedroom, and we're like, okay, and then it went, it just started scattering everywhere. Pure nightmares.
Some of the bugs we saw in that Hollywood apartment, like, oh my, I will never forget coming home one night. And we went into like our gate and we walked down this little like pathway, and next door we saw that someone was getting fumigated or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad we don't have cockroaches. But I'm like, I hope they don't, run over here.
As they do, yeah.
So we're walking into our place. I'm putting stuff in the slow cooker. It's the evening for the night before, for the next night, blah, blah, blah. I go to our closet. I like take off my jeans and then I throw them above. There's like an above shelf. And the way the light is, I'm like, wait, did something just move? the way the light is going in, I just see this shadow, this antennae, and it's a cockroach, but the cockroach has been magnified by like 10 in this shadow, and I'm just like,
It was enormous.
and I look at it, and it's literally the size of like a mouse, this huge cockroach, and I'm like, Matt, and we were both high, and I was like, oh my God, you got like a garbage bag out and a hammer or something.
I got a garbage bag and then 2 other bags. It was like garbage bag, paper bag, plastic bag.
Because you always hear if
And
you kill them, they release their babies.
They're little, yeah, they
so
shit
you
a bunch
can't
of
squish
babies out.
them.
What a life that is too. Imagine you were so scared or that you were going to die that you shit out a bunch of babies.
I mean, that just goes to show that mothers will do anything for their children.
That's true, including shitting them out in a dangerous situation. That's a terrible time to shit out a baby.
But it's either that or the babies die
Die
with her.
with you, I guess. Abandoned ship. Maybe it's the babies that are actually controlling the cockroach and they eject themselves. Let's do some research on that. But I got the cockroach in a bag, and it was so big that I'm like, if I use all my force, I don't think I could kill this thing.
No,
I think I would punch it, and it would look at me annoyed.
Be like, is that all you got?
I fucking dare you to try that again. And then so I wrapped it in a bag, and I could hear it fluttering about, and then wrapped it in another bag, and wrapped it in another bag, and then threw it in the dumpster. And I swear, in the movie, in Christmas Vacation when they had the cat in the gift, I swear it was like moving. It was like just fluttering about. And that was the biggest cockroach I've ever seen in my life. And we've been to like Cuba and stuff.
Oh, we've been to Cuba.
You saw they got big cockroaches
It
there.
was huge. It was eating all the LA garbage. It was massive. And I remember that night, my skin felt hot because I was so grossed out. And I was like, I didn't come down for like an hour. I was like, I can't deal with this.
Riding that cockroach high.
I was riding that cockroach high. Do you know what's crazy? We saw a dead cockroach on the streets the other day walking the dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what's that? And you're like, those are its wings. I'm like, cockroaches have wings?
You didn't know that, huh?
I didn't. They fly? Why am I just learning that cockroaches fly?
Because they prefer to skitter about, I guess. They're so fast on their little legs. And I think...
Is it like... Okay, wait. What's the bird that mostly walks but can fly?
Ostrich? I know. I mean, chickens?
Yeah, maybe chickens.
Chickens run around, but they can flutter about. They're the chickens of the bug world.
So we should eat them.
Well, some people do. They're saying that could be the next food. I mean, they've been saying that for years, that bugs are going to be the next food.
I would eat a smaller bug, which is funny because when it comes to animals, people are like, I want to eat the bigger animal. But when it comes to bugs, I kind of want to eat the smaller bug.
Yeah. Somebody posted a meme and it was like, land bugs, disgusting. But then they're like, sea bugs, delicious. Like shrimps, lobsters. If it's wet and it's in the ocean, that's basically a bug.
Here's the thing. If a cockroach had a big, juicy shrimp tail ass, I'll dip it in some cocktail sauce.
Maybe they do. Maybe their asses, if you boil them up real nice.
No.
Maybe they taste like lobster.
If that was the case, someone would have figured it out.
Yeah.
Someone's literally looked at an oyster and smacked it and been like, I'll fucking eat this snot. And then now they're so expensive. And I love them.
What?
So
Is there someone out there looking at things being like, okay, can we eat this? Should we eat this? Like, there are people out there that have looked at cockroaches and cooked them many different ways to see if something's there. What a smell in that house/laboratory. And also, curse any relationship you're in. Hey, great first date. What do you do? Oh, I'm finding new ways to cook cockroaches.
I don't know if there's one person designated to finding out if you can eat weird things. I think just
it was a team of
over
people.
time.
Yeah.
Naturally, when food is scarce and we need to eat something, it's like, all right, let's see through trial and error if we can eat this weird thing.
Yeah. But the thing with bugs is they usually blend them up and then the powdery proteins go into other things.
Oh,
so
if you want to blend up bugs and it's good for me, I'll eat the bugs.
You'll eat the bugs. Wait, have you had like straight up like dried bug?
I actually don't think I've ever had like a cricket or something like that. I don't think I have.
They taste like wood.
Huh.
I had one at the CNE in Toronto once.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, it's a bug hot dog. I'm like, you don't need to do... I hate fairs because they're always like, we're going to deep fry a shoe and fill it full of cheese. Like, and then you got to eat it. And this is a hot dog covered in dried bugs. And I had to eat it because it was for like a TV thing. And I couldn't I couldn't fake it. I don't know how they fake it on like food shows. I took a bite. I'm like, that tastes terrible. This tastes terrible. It tasted like
It
what
could've
the
been the hot
forest
dog.
smells like. Yeah, but you don't want to eat that. And then I could feel like, I had like a leg in my tooth.
It's mostly the texture thing.
Yeah.
Of like a little like leg coming out, and you're just like, oh, I'm actually gonna be sick.
It's not good. I'll tell you what makes me sick when stupid things happen in our weeks. And I think we should go into one of our 2 closing segments. Well, that was stupid. Well,
that was stupid. Yeah.
What
Matt,
did happen?
what was stupid for you this
Oh,
week?
this is my stupid one, and I'm finally recovering from it.
Cannot wait.
So I went for.
Oh yeah.
Did we talk about this last podcast? I went for a run too close to the freeway, and I got like a sore throat. I was like wanted to run some hills, so we live kind of near the freeway. So you can go under the freeway and kind of up on the other side, and then run a couple kilometers down and do the same thing. I'm like, this is a good workout. There's a couple of hills. It's nice. Wasn't even thinking about the pollution. I got under the freeway, and it was like toxic.
Yeah.
There was already an air quality warning, and I was under there, and I could feel it entering my body. I've never had that much pollution. And then I get home, and I'm like, my throat feels fucked. Mm-hmm. And then my throat was fucked for like a week. I'm now just starting to feel better. It's so stupid.
It really destroyed you for a bit.
I thought I was sick, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting COVID. And then I'm like, oh no, but the rest of my body's fine. I felt perfectly fine. And even, you can probably hear it in my voice now, but I honest to God think it was like pollution, poisoning. I don't know.
I think it was part like allergies.
Allergies are crazy right now. But also like the way I breathe when I run, it's very sharp. So I feel like I was shooting the pollution to the back of my throat. Like,
yeah, you were sucking back pollution.
And I've had sore throats my whole life. That is probably my number one type of sickness I get. And it's just annoying. It's cankers and sore throat, because no matter what you're doing throughout the day, you'll be doing something. You'll be like, oh, blah, 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 I'm doing this. And then you swallow, you're like, there's your throat. You have a throat. Like, you're just reminded of your throat constantly throughout the day.
I feel like your throat has always given you a lot of trouble with your tiny throat and the meat getting stuck in your throat.
Something's going on in there. I don't know. I don't think I'm meant to have a neck.
Let's just remove your neck and just sew the bottom of your jowls to your clavicle.
I would love that.
And so everything just falls in.
It was just head and right on my chest. And then when I ate, it just went.
No, you'd look like that guy from 90 Day Fiancé, which I've never seen. I've only just ever seen like the memes and GIFs of this hideous, unfortunate little man.
He's mashed in and he just has no neck.
Excuse me.
But the food must get to his stomach so quick.
I don't know, or the neck is so crunched up that it's like like it's trying to figure out like how to get down the esophagus.
Yeah. Either way, let me know, listener, if you know a doctor that would remove my neck so I could eat better and breathe better. If you saw a guy with no neck running next to the freeway, you'd be like, I think I'm getting out of Los Angeles. I think that's enough for me. Just like,
Yeah.
You'd be like, that guy's going to kill my family.
A no-neck man. Don't want no neck man. Don't.
Stupid thing happened to you this week?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of a stupid thing that
look who had a perfect week.
No, it's been far from perfect. I tell you what. Oh, you know what? This was kind of stupid. I did a show. At the Hollywood Improv, and it was in the lab, and the lab is notoriously like, kind of whatever crowds. But this time I'm like, oh my God, this crowd's great. Like, they actually seem fun, and my friend was seeing me, and she brought a date, and it was all very exciting. And when like the energy of a show is great, and then like after like peak energy, there was like a really low energy act.
Yeah.
And then a really sort of like obscure act, and then an even more obscure act, and you just feel the energy waning. And then the host is going on, she's giving me this great intro, and I'm like, all right, okay, I'm gonna bring it back. And then the sound guy is like, hey, to the host, like, can you change the microphones, because the last guy brought on 2 microphones. She's like, oh, okay. And so she's changing them, in complete silence. And she's like, can you put on some music or something? And the audience is just waiting. They're already confused by the last 2 acts that have happened. And so she's changing the mics, and he's like, no, you didn't have to change the stand. Oh, okay. And then I'm like, and this is all happening, and I'm just in the wings like, okay. And by the wings, it's a lab, so like the crowd can see me just like
waiting to go into the bright spot.
And I'm like, oh my God, just fucking bring me up. And then the host kind of butchers my name when it's finally time. And the sound guy plays, I forget what song it was, but it was like the most downer song, like folk music-y fucking, I think it was a Canadian band or something because he knows I'm Canadian, which ain't nothing but the price of cheese. That doesn't make sense. But listen.
Was it Resurrection by Moist? Here comes a resurrection. Everybody got to die from something.
That is way too up tempo. This was, I cannot explain how just like slow. This was, you know, you're at the bonfire at midnight and everybody's about to pass out. It was that energy. So I'm like, hi. And it took me a while. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll just like open with like a killer joke, like a really short one that always kills. Barely anything. I'm like, okay. And then I had to kind of like get them back, and I ended strong, and it was fun, whatever. But I'm like, this is just so stupid.
It's annoying.
It's like when you're watching a perfectly good show just completely unravel, and I'm like, God damn it.
God damn it.
But yeah, it was stupid, but but I ended up having a great set, so in the end, it wasn't so stupid.
Well, there you go. Because sometimes weeks don't have to be all stupid. There's
No.
something nice that happens every week. And I venture that something nice happened to you as well this week. I'm going very Mr. Rogers right now.
Yes,
Looking
you
directly.
are.
I think we're all very special people. And I think you can understand that you're special too. And you know what makes you feel special? It's when something warm and fuzzy happens to you. And let's talk about something warm and fuzzy that happened this week. Join me. I guess I'll talk about something nice that happened to me.
Yeah, what happened to you that was warm and fuzzy, Matt?
I mean, just a quick one, quick and dumb. I don't know. A couple things. TV-wise, something that's making me feel warm and fuzzy. Only Murders in the Building. Also, Ahsoka is the Star Wars show. Didn't think I'd be into. It just makes... I literally was sitting...
Why didn't you think you'd be into it?
I just didn't... They're characters I'm not familiar with, and I just don't really know. And then Disney's kind of pissing me off because they kind of fucked up Obi-Wan and the other ones. I'm just I don't know. You watch kind of the Boba Fett one with me, and I'm like, this sucks.
The Boba Fett one stole time from my life that I will never get back.
Me too. I finished it, but the Andor was great, and then I'm like, oh man, this one's so good, and I'm just sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, I'm having a great time. So that's making me feel nice. But then also this week is making me feel really nice because I'm busy, and I like to be busy.
Work. You're in your busy era.
Because I'm going to do 5 shows in the Bay Area this weekend. Which is always just a great feeling when you are a comedian, especially, and your week begins. You're like, well, whatever, I could rest because I know I'm going to be so busy at the end of this week. And then to add to it, I got a spot at the Comedy Store last night, which I love doing because we're both on development. So we put our avails in every week. Sometimes we get on, sometimes we don't. And it was just a nice little nugget.
And you hadn't been on in a while, and you were getting sort of antsy about that, but you got on and you were great. And
it was great. Got to work on stuff, and just walking into the Comedy Store. And I mean, I know every comic on the planet has said that it just feels nice, especially when you're like, I'm on the bill. Like you're not just some comic hanging around, which there's no problem with that, but it's just like, this is one of the biggest comedy clubs in the world, and I'm like, and they wanted me. Like it's very nice.
Nice.
In any capacity. So, and I'm just celebrating these little things, and it just made me feel nice.
That's so nice, Matt. Listen, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said,
boy.
Because I feel like there was sort of this like in between time in my life where it's like, okay, I've done this, and this, and now I should be doing this, and this, and then it wasn't happening, and then I just got like weird about it. Then I just stopped doing everything, and I was like, okay, well, clearly nobody wants me. But now it's going back to that and finding the good in all like the little wins and all like the little things that normally I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but before
tiny wins,
but before you're like, oh, like, do I really want to perform at this club across the country and whatever? And now I'm like, yeah, I actually do, and why not? Like I have to remind myself, I'm like, I like what I do. I like this job. I like working. And for the first time in a long time, and you know what? I blame it on the Vyvanse. It's helping me really like reach out to people. I think last week I emailed 30 different people, and I've been kind of like asking for what I want and putting myself out there, and slowly but surely it's coming to fruition. Like
this is the greatest advertising for Vyvanse. You're like,
Vyvanse.
all these years struggle, and then
No,
wouldn't
but
you know it?
but it's
taking
not.
a
It's not
pill.
only Vyvanse, but also these
I
past few
know.
weeks we've been drinking less, and
Really focused.
and it's like the first time where I'm like, I actually don't really feel like drinking as much, or if I do, I'm like, I'm having a glass of wine, and that's fine. I'm not like beating myself up about it. Like
Yeah.
I do feel a bit more centered right now, and which makes me worried because I'm like, oh God, usually when I start feeling this way, something terrible happens.
No, that's the George Costanza syndrome. That's what you're doing.
I feel like I have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I booked at Laughs Comedy in Seattle, so that's going to be happening, and I have a bunch of not a bunch, but I have some work coming up, and also it's made me feel warm and fuzzy that like I don't like asking favors, but I'll just like ask a comedian being like, hey, I saw you're doing this, like, do you mind passing on your contact, or like if it makes you uncomfortable, or like whatever, asking, and most of the time they're like, yeah, or they don't respond, whatever.
Yeah.
But
this whole industry is built on favors. Every single major thing is like, I knew a guy and he helped me out.
Yeah.
They helped me out. They tossed me a bone.
And this is all information that's out there, and these are people you have a rapport with, and it's not like I'm a year in. It's like I've been doing this for 100 years, and it's just been really nice that people have been helping me. So I just wanted to say to them, you've been making me feel warm and fuzzy. And last but not least, I'm going to Joshua Tree this week for a little girls trip, and I haven't done something like that in a while, and I'm so excited. So while you're at the Alameda Comedy Club this weekend, I'm going to be in Joshua Tree with some girls and some dogs, and
Getting
I'm
dinked and zinked.
and I feel so warm and fuzzy for it. Oh,
That's nice.
and last but not least, okay, sorry, I'm
okay.
really going all out.
milking it.
I'm milking this warm
I'm
and fuzzy.
covered in milk.
I'm covered in milk. Ew. Tonight we're going to a little opening, like a premiere opening night party for the North Hollywood Film Fest, because a little short film I was in is premiering this weekend, but I'm going to be in Joshua Tree.
That's right.
So we're going to a little opening night party, and Getty Images is going to be there.
That's the only reason we're going.
That's really why I want to.
Because we want that stupid photo that just says Getty Images.
Yeah.
Because it looks official.
I want to be on a red carpet and get a little Getty image photo
we're
and
gonna get
get it done.
Yeah. We're gonna get down with the Getty. That's us. That's us tonight, and this is the podcast that you just listened to. Where can individuals find you online if they are so curious?
Individuals can find me Julia Comedy on Instagram, Julia Comedian on Facebook. Matt, where can they find you?
That's dynamite. I'm Matt O'Brien on Instagram, comedian Matt O'Brien, or is it Matt O'Brien comedian? One of those. Just
You'll
type
find
in,
him.
search Matt O'Brien on Facebook. And I'm trying to get to 100,000 followers. 77,000 so far.
Yeah,
so
you're really milking your
let's
Facebook
see.
page.
I'm really pushing it. Push it
good. And as always, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Is this what you want podcast? We appreciate you, and that's everything.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ist das, was Sie wollen, mit Matt und Julia? Ist das, was Sie wollen? Is this what you want? Ow, my butt.